Hello everyone, Nordic Beast here, and welcome back to the Nidd server. So as you see, we're at my shipyard, and we are aboard my newest ship. This is the Ripsaw, which I've talked about before. It's my salvage ship design that I built, and it took me about, an hour and a half to build this thing through blueprints, which probably should have taken me about 20 minutes. So I'm glad I didn't record it, because I would have lost my mind about 10 different times. Let's see, I had designed, built, and now lost my newest welding ship named Wanda, which I will be rebuilding next. Show the other side, that's why I have all the lights here on the shipyard. There we go, that's the Ripsaw. So, yeah, like I said, I ended up losing Wanda while building the Ripsaw. I was building this part right behind the jump drive, back here, and just underneath these blocks are where the med bay and the gravity generator, which sits on top of it, are. And I was, like, it was still in, the projection was up. All these had been cut away, so I could fit in there, and just all of a sudden like, I wasn't even moving very fast, like, seriously, like 0.1 meters a second. And all of a sudden my cockpit was destroyed, and one of the cargo containers exploded, and shit went everywhere. And I had to grind it all down, and then I had to get my Rosie, my last Rosie, out of storage to use. I'm glad I didn't grind her down to finish building this. So, and some of it I had to finish building by hand too, so that kind of brought me back. But yeah, this is the Ripsaw. I am quite happy with this ship. Pardon me. I still need some more rockets for the rocket pod. I'm pretty sure I explained it, but I'm still going to say it again. The rocket pod is for destroying any hazardous material to the ship. So, I'm sorry, I just woke up, so I'm still not quite fully with it. So if I'm going to go grind something down, say I find a hull that's salvageable, let's say there's something on there like an explosive or what I think is a booby trap, I can hit it with a rocket. So I've only got 3 in there, so like I said, I need more. I don't have any Gatling ammunition, but I've got plenty of uranium and plenty of ice in this thing. And it still has a couple of oxygen farms up here too. So I did jump out with it once and jumped back, so I do know it's flyable. It's very fast and maneuverable. It's only about 500,000 kilograms, which is pretty reasonable, or very lightweight for a ship this size. And it also runs off a single gyro. That's all it needs, just one gyro. Now it has 2 large cargo containers, and I have a feeling the performance of this ship will highly decrease now with component mass as I build the ship. So, yeah. But, oh well. It's a little more realistic with that. I understand. So, but that was one of the things I liked about my Wanda welding ship that was destroyed building this thing, is the Wanda, even at 2 billion kilograms, which is pretty much fully loaded for that ship, it still flew really well, as it used large thrusters for forward and rear thrust, and then large clusters of small thrusters for thrust in all the other directions. So I will be rebuilding it. So along with that, take a look at my hangars really fast. As you notice, all that's in here is the cane cutter and 1 Rosie. So I built a grinding pit. There we go. And it works pretty well. It's a gravity-powered grinding pit, so if you're to use it, you have to put mass blocks or space balls, which is what I've been using, on here. And it works relatively well to the point of once the grinders cause things to bounce around too much, they'll float away. So I'm going to build either a cage around this, or I'm going to build another grinding pit above it, so when I put ships in there, if it bounces, it'll just bounce back and forth between the grinders. I'm trying to find a cleaner way to disperse of my small ships, so I'm not causing server lag and things like that. our debris, which apparently I'm not the only one, but I'm probably the worst culprit. Our debris is one of the things that causes lag in the server, so... Which poor Boris is getting terrible sim speed and frame rates. Like, right now my sim speed 0.9, bouncing around. For him, it drops down to like 0.5. And then I can't see frames per second behind my DxTari frame thing, but it shows me as around 25 right now. But I also have lights on over there, and usually my base now, I get around 30 to 40 if I'm not recording. Boris's base, they're so very much there that it drops me down to about 20. So, oh, whoops, wrong button. Sorry. There we go. So yeah, that's the server is kind of rough, but you got to remember with him, he's also in Australia, so his connection can be pretty poor at times, and yeah, it just it sucks on his behalf. Oh, listen to that. So every time I hit that button, though, it also turns on a gravity generator that's underneath. Ah, yep, right there. So I used that to grind down some of my ships, which were in my storage hangar. In this hangar, though, my original Rosie and my grinder girl were blown up by me, not on purpose. A few weeks back, update before last, actually today's Thursday, but the update hasn't gone through. I was flying around in the Fenris over there, and its turrets I had to set to, detect movement, because they weren't shooting, and even with detect movement on, they still weren't shooting. I was trying to hunt down a cargo ship, and it wasn't working. And I came back, parked it, got off the server, and I forgot about that. So I was going to build the grinding pit. I'm bringing Rosie out, and boom, Rosie blows up. And I thought, because I was like moving along the ground, that perhaps I got caught on something and the game just fucked up. No, I got hit with a rocket, and Rosie did not last. So then I brought Grinder Girl out to grind down Rosie, or at least to help me do so, and it blew up. And then I saw the little red targeting reticles on the floating blocks, and I realized that it was a rocket launcher. And some stray rockets went off in here, and I had to rebuild inside the hangar. This area especially, like, this was so bad I couldn't go through these doors. Luckily, none of the armor blocks actually blew up because the explosions weren't actually targeted on the station itself. It just crumpled and damaged everything. But there was small ship parts everywhere. I had to grind it all down. As you notice, there's a light missing there. There's a light missing up here, so I need to replace those. Yeah. I'm just gonna leave this open because I'm gonna build a new Wanda soon, which I may show at the end of this video. Come on, come around. So, two things back here, as you'll notice. Also, very empty hangar. And I was tired of not being able to see, so I installed lights. I was gonna do interior lights, but I realized interior lights don't reach from the ceiling to the floor very well, so I thought I'll just put in a couple of spotlights in here. That'll work. Theoretically it does, but it only lights up the back half, so I might put matching lights on this door pointing back. It's a little on the laggy side, but I mean it gets the job done. It's just a storage hangar. Originally this is where I was going to store. There we go. This is where I was going to store all the ships. Like, if people wanted me to build them, I'd store them in here until they were ready for them. But though I have gotten orders, obviously, between Boris and Anubis and Mir, it's not in the vast quantities I thought it would be to justify this hangar. Of course, I have my Lady in the Dark 2 sitting there, which, oh, God, it's such a beautiful ship. I love that ship. And then my Z-Gub and my little defense drone. I love this little thing, too. If we ever do any PvP on the server, I'll probably do it with this drone. Or this drone will go into the PvP area. It'll be like a base defense drone or something. So if anything comes my way, just pew pew. Yes, that ship goes pew pew. So, so another little Nidd venture I went on. Unfortunately, I didn't record any of this, and I kind of wish I would have. The Fenris over there, I had jumped out, just exploring, having a good old time. It was before I built the ripsaw. So I took the Fenris out, and I was just exploring. It was about half an hour into exploration, and I was like, you know what, I'm not finding anything. Maybe I'll head to bed. And then all of a sudden, lag spike, started looking around, and I realized I see an antenna. And I ran into the same station I have found on this server, what, twice? So this is like my third time finding the station, which it used to be, I used to have one like right above the station here. Like I had parked that station up there above this one, and then took forever to grind it down. Well, I found another, and I tried to jump it back using the Fenris. The first time I jumped it, I got about halfway from where I found it to here, and I had to recharge my my jump drive. So I went and made some food real quick while it was recharging, and I come back and I see that it's charged, and I jump again and it shuts down the server. And basically Space Engineers is like, I don't want a physics, bro. And I'm like, oh, okay. And after the server comes back up, I decide, oh, I'm going to try it again. And I tried again, and instead it just disconnects me from the server and perpetually showed me as just sitting here on the server. Boris ends up messaging me like, are you just sitting idle on the server? And I was asleep by this point, and he's like, I'll take your silence as a no. So after that, I decided I wasn't going to try and jump that station again. I might end up going and building a jump drive right on it and then jumping the station here itself. That might actually work. Otherwise, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I could just jump out there with the ripsaw, but like, even with the Manta here, which is one of the best grinding ships I've ever had, and that's got, what, 9 drills, or 9 grinders on it? This one only has 5. A space station might be a bit much for the ripsaw. I would rather have it really close if I'm going to grind it down. So I would like to get it back. Ooh, pardon me. Ooh. Like I said, I've been up less than an hour. I've had a very busy week this week. They have me working 6 days because we are short several people at work. We have some people leaving, and we have some people on vacation. So I am filling in hours, and I'm happy for the hours and the money. I just very, very tired. And in fact, I was talking to DHR Mike about this last night, how like in the United States we actually work more average hours than most countries. Ooh, lag spike there. I used to work with a girl from Bulgaria, and she said in Bulgaria they would average maybe 30 hours a week. And we average 40 hours a week, and quite often more. My dad is a computer programmer, so he often works from home as well as on site and travels. He works sometimes up to like 60 to 80 hours a week. But my dad loves his job. Like, he'd probably still do it even if he wasn't getting paid. So, yeah, and I mean, I work 40 to 50 hours a week, and, oh, it can be exhausting. But from my understanding also, the United States, for the most part, you actually get paid pretty well here, except for on the very low end. So, alright, enough of me talking about the, the states and our economy and stuff. It's not what this channel's all about. So, yeah, like I said, my next goal is to build a new Wanda, which actually, I don't know if I showed this off or not. Alright, there we go. Projector, small, turn it on. Blueprint. Oh, hold on. I think Wanda is what's on there right now. Okay, no, nothing is projected right now. Small. Oh, did I turn that? I not turn it on? Okay, no, it's on. Alright, there. Wanda. Pow. There we go. So, yeah, she is going to be next. Now, if you look here... Alright, see... so this was the issue that caused Wanda's demise. Also, you see how, like, the armor blocks look like they're actually there. They don't have a projection look. I'm guessing this is to help with lag. And I will say I understand that. But because of that, I mean, they look like they're there. There's no indication that they are a projection. As I weld this up, some of these might not exist or be half welded, and I won't know until I shut the damn projector off. So that is a big pain in the ass, a big disadvantage. But overall, this ship is awesome. I know you don't really hear that about a welding ship, but this is probably the best welding ship I've ever built to a purpose, because like I said, as you add components, you get heavier and heavier, and so I designed it with the idea of that in mind, and so it has a lot of thrusters. So when it's empty, this thing flies damn near like a fighter. But as it gets, loaded up, I think it has 2 gyros, 1 or 2 gyros. I don't even know where the hell I put them on here. I think, here we go. Yeah, so 2 gyros. Either side there. And I also added a couple of, like as you see here, I have these open large conveyor doors and these open small ones. I can add whatever I want to that. So if I wanted to, say, add an oxygen tank, all these here could take an oxygen tank or an oxygen generator. Or if I want the 2 big ones here, I could rotate up and have more welders and more grinders on the front, or collectors, if I so decided. So this ship is also capable of being expanded. The little conveyors, I can convey weapons if I want it. I put Gatlings up there. So if I was to use this in a PvP area, it's doable. It could at least defend itself. So, and like I said, it runs on all large thrusters for forward and rear movement. And that is a huge advantage. And this one is set so far back that the thrust doesn't damage whatever you're working on. So, and this camera I found to be massively... Oh, oxygen low. To be massively useful when using projector. If I can't see through a projection, the camera often can. And I'll just go to the camera and it'll be far enough ahead on the ship that I can see through the projection to what I'm trying to weld. So I found that very, very useful. And the ship also has a sensor that shuts off the welders if you hop out and the welders are still on. Even testing it, the welders have never hurt me, ever. So the #1 killer of space engineers, been nerfed. In fact, I might have to make a Boris ship. That's another thing I was talking to DHR Mike about last night. If I'm to make a Boris-safe ship, maybe I could find script that limits how fast your ship can go, and it'll be like it'll almost be like a big wire ball of heavy armor, so that if it does actually bounce into something, it'll just kind of bounce off the heavy armor, or maybe blast door blocks. And then it'll limit how fast it'll actually go, and perhaps have sensors that'll stop it if it gets too close to an object. And yeah, completely Boris safe, so he can't fly into things. So yeah, to get back to the point though, Wanda will be next on my list. I'm going to do something with that station. Either, like I said, I'm going to build a jump drive on it, or I'm going to grind it down where it's at, which actually we can go ahead and take a look at it real quick. I also brought up to the Nidd about planets coming up soon, and kind of sad to say that nobody seemed particularly interested in putting planets in here. One reason I completely agree with is that planets will probably be shit as soon as they come out. It'll be a brand new feature, so who knows. Alright, let's see. Fenris. Select. And 7. So that I completely understand. But it seemed like nobody was really all that interested in planets otherwise, and that kind of bums me out a bit. So perhaps when planets come out, I will either do like a solo thing, like in survival. Oh, is it gone? No, it's okay. There it is. It just must not be because the station is solar powered. It must not be in the light right now. The solar panels. See, look at how fast this little ship is. Well, I mean, it's little in mass. It's actually a pretty decent size. Wiseman, you might actually enjoy how this ship handles. He's very particular about making large ships rather maneuverable. Oh, I went at it upside down. I do love this space station. My only issue with it is that there's no oxygen on it because it was designed and built before oxygen. I kind of wouldn't mind keeping it as is if I could get a jump drive on it, or I'll build a jump drive on the attached ship and then jump the station to where I'd like it to be. Because for the most part, it powers itself. Actually, speaking of, it should technically... Damn it. I have no oxygen. I'll be back in a minute. Jump cut! Anyway, so I turned the power on the station because I was floating around and realized that the solar panels were not getting enough power. So I just turned on the batteries, and I think there's a reactor on this ship too. So anyway, I figured out what I'm going to do with the ship, or with the station, I'm sorry. At each hub, if you notice like all the conveyors here, at each hub there's like a cargo container. I think I will put an air vent there so I can oxygenate the entire ship and it's all conveyed. So, and then there's double doors between everything, so if there is like a disaster, you can contain it. You just, hit that section and then cut off the, the part of the station that has problems. So, so what I think I'm going to do with this station, like I said, I'm going to oxygenate it. I'm going to put a jump drive on this big ship here, jump it near a bunch of asteroids. I'm going to try and find asteroids that's not at the center, because the center of the server right now has got so much built up, I don't want to add to it. So I'm going to try and find something a distance away, but with plenty of asteroids to mine from, and then you use this as like a community station, a community mining station. So I'm going to add also cargo containers to this thing because it doesn't have much in the way of like large cargo containers, a refinery, and assemblers. Pardon me. Actually, I think maybe just refineries, and then you can take your raw materials. Like I said, I want this as a mining station. So you fly out to go do some mining, you just leave everything here and let it refine. And then next time you're back on the server, you can take your mining ship, load it up with the ingots, and fly it back. So I really like that idea. I think that's pretty cool. So that being said, if you guys enjoyed the series, hit the subscribe button. If you liked the episode, hit the like button. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. And here we have it, the Wanda. And the Wanda actually working now. So as you see, it has the two large thrusters underneath. The one on the right, my first test flight of it, I just realized it wasn't there. And so I built one, took it for a flight, and the left one exploded while I was flying for absolutely no fucking reason. So then I had to replace that one, and since then it seems to be working fine. I had this problem with my Nidd fighter design, where one of the large thrusters would just randomly explode for absolutely no reason. So, like I said, it seems to be working now, but it really pisses me off that it was giving me so much issue. So yeah, here is the Wanda, actually in the Surfer. But this is unloaded, but you see how well it handles? It still handles pretty close to this while fully loaded. Like, it maneuvers as well. Like, the gyros don't seem to make a difference with component mass, so whatever your movement is with gyros, it seems to stay the same. But, like, that was weird. Anyway, like, your thruster movement seems to, you know, obviously decreases as you get heavier. I've had this thing at 200,000 kilograms, and it still handles very well. So I'm quite pleased with this. Anyway, that's the Wanda. Thanks for watching.